Today, on our channel, we're investigating one of the most controversial financial questions inside the Pentagon. Trillions of dollars that still haven't been clearly explained. It started with a number that didn't make sense. Not millions, not billions, trillions. When we first came across the documents, the figure didn't look real. It appeared inside publicly available financial records tied to the United States Department of Defense. At first, it looked like technical accounting language, something buried deep in reports that rarely get attention. But the more we examined it, the more it repeated, across different years, across different departments, until the total reached an estimated $21 trillion. So we traced where that number came from. It led us to research conducted by Mark Skidmore, who analyzed official reports from the Office of Inspector General. One of those reports, focused on Army financial statements, described unsupported adjustments in the trillions of dollars. That phrase matters. Unsupported, meaning the underlying data could not be fully verified. We went further. Inside that same report, auditors found that accounting entries were being made simply to force financial statements to balance, not based on confirmed transactions, but to reconcile discrepancies. That's not a one-time correction. That's a pattern. Then we looked at what happened in 2018. For the first time in its history, the Pentagon attempted a full financial audit. It failed, not partially, completely. Auditors, working alongside agencies like the Government Accountability Office and independent firms, reported that large portions of spending could not be verified. Transactions could not be traced. Systems did not align. And in some cases, documentation simply didn't exist in a verifiable form. At that point, the story stopped being about a number. It became about a system. Because when we looked deeper into how Pentagon finances actually operate, the complexity became impossible to ignore. Different departments use different systems. Some of those systems are decades old. Many of them don't communicate with each other, which means data often has to be manually adjusted, just to make accounts appear balanced. And that's where the scale becomes critical, because these adjustments weren't in the millions or billions, they were in the trillions. We then reviewed additional findings from the Government Accountability Office. The same issues appeared again. Incomplete financial data, inconsistent reporting, limited ability to independently verify transactions. These are not isolated findings. They are systemic weaknesses. And that changes how this story should be understood. This is not confirmed evidence that $21 trillion was stolen. There is no official statement supporting that claim. But there is documented evidence showing that trillions in accounting adjustments were required to reconcile financial records. And that raises a different kind of concern. Because in systems operating at this scale, the greatest risk isn't always direct loss. It's something harder to detect. Gaps in visibility, blind spots in oversight, areas where financial activity exists but cannot be clearly explained in real time. And when those blind spots exist inside one of the most powerful institutions in the world, they don't just affect accounting, they affect trust. Officials, including leadership under Lloyd Austin, have stated that improvements are ongoing. Audits continue. Systems are being modernized. Oversight is expanding. But progress does not erase the underlying question, because the number still exists. $21 trillion. Not confirmed missing. Not fully explained. And after reviewing the reports, the audit findings, and the documented evidence, that's what stands out. Not a clear answer, but a system that struggles to fully account for itself. And maybe that's the real story. Not what's proven missing, but what cannot be clearly explained. This is Untold by AJ, where we follow the evidence, not just the headlines, and where the questions don't end when the story does.